What's going on, everybody? This is Jesse, and we are live with episode 47. This is Comic Conversation, folks. It's Tuesday again, and we have a lot of fun topics to cover tonight. So we're going to kind of get right into it pretty quick. A lot of news drops. I know we had a show on Thursday, but already there's been a bunch of news to go over. So excited for that. We're going to go over some Transformers, bunch of stuff, Superman a couple different times, a little bit of Wolverine X-23 news, and some Legacy, of course, Marvel Legacy. And, of course, new books for tomorrow. We're always going to cover that for you, assuming we're always on Tuesdays. But first, what we always do here is go and do some catch-up. So why do we do that? We'll start with Justin. How have you been since last Thursday?
Since last Thursday. Good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Sweet.
I went and picked up some dollar books. That was about it. Since then, I did not go back to the comic book store on purpose.
No. Sometimes it's a conscious effort. You got to say, no, not today.
You stay away for an extra week or something.
Then you get the shakes, and then you got to go.
Exactly.
All right. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back. This actually first time starting off the show in a while, man. And
That's right.
I was on the Thursday show. I kind of popped in, I guess, towards the last third of the show, and was able to kind of chime in a little bit. But I'm back to full time, and just back in the show. So I'm happy. I'm really excited to be doing this again because it's been a long time, and with everything that was going on with my daughter, this is a nice relief, nice way to just get back into having some fun with comics. So
sweet. Yeah, glad to have you back, man. And you popped in last week, right when we were talking about Michael Bay. I know you had some choice words about that, so that was good timing on your part.
I did. Yeah, I was just like, oh, Michael Bay sucks, But that's my opinion. That's not, look, Michael Bay. I don't have to talk about him. We'll wait till Transformers stuff. I'll go ahead and tell everybody how much I don't like him again.
There you go. All right, cool. So yeah, I haven't been doing a whole lot either in terms of picking up or going to different shops, but I did get a couple of cool things that came in the mail. I have them up on my Instagram page, and I'm way behind. I have a stack of back issues. I got to do a haul soon. I keep ordering things, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna wait till that comes in, right? And a couple of days later, then I'm like, something else is coming. Well, I'll wait till that comes in, right? Next thing I know, it's been 2 weeks, and I haven't done a freaking back issue video. But anyways, yeah, so we were going to talk about, you mentioned Michael Bay. So one thing I wanted to mention was, actually, let me, before we get ahead of ourselves here, give a couple of shout-outs. We have Big E's Comics just showed up in the chat. Also, Deadpool, look at Instagram, was here before we were here. Same with Comically Flawed. He was here. He was the first one here. He was here before everybody else. So shout out to you guys for joining us. And we already have 10 viewers, so appreciate everybody for watching the show. Out NES Master 80 as well. And I do see your comment, Deadpoolica, and I'm not going to say that just because you said that. So I'm not mentioning anything about thumbs or fingers. So there you go. So we were going to talk about Transformers first, just really quickly. I put up a comment on the Comic Book Fanatics page, basically saying like, the movie didn't do so well domestically, but it's done really well internationally. And some of these movies, these types of movies with the monsters and the mechas and fantasy, a lot of times, and this is one of them in my opinion, that's made for the international market, right?
Yeah.
And there was somebody that went on there and was like, no, what are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to run through a couple of the numbers with you just to kind of underscore the point I was trying to make. So with the movie, I mean, domestically, it did just under 70 million over like a week for the domestic box office. It was 69.1 million, which is a series low. It's the worst opening for this franchise. However, it did 196.2 million internationally.
Yeah, it opened in China.
That. 63% of that came from China, right?
Yeah.
It's in the top 20 openings of all time. It pulled in $265 million globally, right? I mean, that whole thing was about basically a weekend. What it did for domestically for the U.S. was a small fraction of that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, that really, Age of Extinction 77% of it came from overseas, and you can say the same thing about Dark of the Moon. Just under 70% overseas. I mean,
which means they're just going to keep making them.
Exactly. Well, we have Bumblebee coming next year, right? The prequel standalone sort of movie. It's like the Han Solo of the Transformers movies.
Well, so it'll be before the first one. It'll be before the first Transformers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be set in the 80s.
So before he loses his voice.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That still doesn't make any sense. Like
he'll have his voice box. He won't have to use the radio.
Because it would be a very difficult movie if the whole movie he's trying to communicate through the radio. It would get for a whole movie with no other characters, just him. It would get old.
Just sitting there looking at the screen the whole time, just doing sound bites from the radio.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a lady, I forget her name. Is it? I can't remember her name. Haley something. I think she's supposed to be in it. But yeah. So I mean, it didn't do so well as we're saying here in the U.S., but you better be damn sure there's going to be plenty more of these movies if it keeps pulling in that type of money internationally.
Yep.
So,
unfortunately, with that, but I mean, if they're going to make it for an international market, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I look at it where it's just like, there's plenty of movies that have that same type of thing where it's just like, over there it's a different type of story. They're looking for something different in terms of how they're how they do their movies and everything. Just because, I mean, if you look at even back in the day, like the old Japanese cinema, like Godzilla and stuff like that, you were seeing really like over here the movies that were kind of like Godzilla and stuff were considered the B movies. Those are the movies that people were just like, oh, like this is just kind of like your like really like low grade like grindhouse like horror movie. Okay. Like the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and all that type of stuff. But over there, it's just that it's, I guess, ingrained in what they know. So it's just kind of like, for them it's fun. And I understand that. I mean, I have no beef with that specifically. But over here, you got to have more of a story. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And you could. I mean, there's a good. What bothers me the most is being a child of the 80s and stuff like that. It's just like, there's a good Transformers movie to be made. I know there is. I can tell there is. The cartoon movie cannot be the one and only good movie that they put out. I'm sorry. Like I mean, you can do with the technology and everything. You can do a great live action Transformers if you stick to the right stuff. It's just I mean,
I don't think the current movies look bad. I think they look good.
No. They look great.
They look great, but the story's not there. The story hasn't been good enough since the second one to make me go to the theater and see it.
The second one's where they lost me. Like the first one, I gave benefit of the doubt, and I was like, all right, not too bad. I mean, it was the first time seeing them on screen like that, so I'm like, all right, I can suspend my disbelief. I can kind of like, be like, what, this is good. All right, I'll deal with this. Second one, I felt like I got robbed. I was just like, dude, what the hell happened? Like, what was this all about? Devastator was a big dog. Mm-hmm. You remember that? You remember the Constructicons who had no voices, but they formed up to be, Devastator. And it was basically a giant dog, right? Because it had the two like the two wrecking balls where it's nuts and everything. It was really like stupid, and it was just like that was it. And then I think that was the one with Robot Heaven, which was really like stupid. It was all in all, it was a bad movie, and I mean visually it looked awesome. But I mean, that's not enough to get you by, though. At least not in this.
Not here.
Not yeah. And it's just like if they cut out the whole human interaction part of it and just did like do like the Cybertron Wars, that would be sick. And I think it would please both sides too. Where it's just like you have a movie where it's just going to be a lot of action. It's just the Transformers. This is just the fight that you want to see. And then, you have the explosions and everything, but you have a good story to back it up. And then, send them off to Earth or whatever, for whatever reason. But
yeah, I'd be fine with that. I mean, let's face it, the people aren't going to these movies to see the humans,
Exactly. And it's insulting to know. Like, I remember, was it the second one? It was insulting to see Scorponok get killed by a 50 caliber rifle. I'm like, a 50 caliber, like chain gun. I'm like, this is stupid. I was like, they have weapons that can blow up buildings. Like literally, like they can blast through, and it's just like regular bullets gonna take this thing down. That's just that a lot of things combined to make me be like, you know what, I'm done with this. So for me, I love the Transformers. I loved, the show, growing up with it, and it's just like, and there was some outlandish and crazy and really just cheesy stuff on the cartoon, but I was a kid for that, admittedly. But then there's also the fact that, like, even if you go back and look at it, it's still written better, and like you have so much more development of the characters that like some of that stuff sticks better than what you see on a movie screen for 2 hours, versus like introduction. All right, that little middle part where you kind of have, I guess, your fully fleshed out character, and then the end where either they die or they just kind of escape if they're the Decepticons.
Right, yeah. Well, hopefully they'll kind of see, even though it's done so well, internationally, and it still has a long way to go. If you use, say, like an average like 2.4 multiplier, it has to do about 2.5 times greater for the take than the budget to be considered a success. So you're looking at like maybe like into the 500 million range before they can say this is a success.
Yeah.
But if they look at how it did here in the U.S., hopefully they'll kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit and reevaluate what they're doing, and maybe use a different director, right? Other than Michael Bay.
I think it's time to let him hang up. Just hang it up, because for me, I'm not a fan of his. And I'm not saying he can't make good movies. The first both Bad Boys movies were pretty decent, and lots of action. And it's just like but he was in a better element, and I think that it's also because he was kind of trying to make his way into being a big director in Hollywood. And so after those movies, people were just like, oh yeah, we'll hand you over this franchise, we trust you now. And then he just completely slapped them in the face. So I think that a different director could take it in a different direction and really just kind of make a more honest go of it, that maybe you get a better story along with all the cool explosions and visuals and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I think that's enough topic on Transformers.
Yeah, and I was actually nice to Michael Bay in this. I didn't really rip him as badly as I did.
Yeah.
So Michael Bay, if you're watching, just know I thought of you a little bit.
That's right. I'm sure he's watching. He watches every week, right?
Yep. Good.
Yeah. All right. So I was actually reading, I think it was today, it was sometime this week, since last Thursday in any case. Obviously, Comic-Con International, what everybody calls San Diego Comic-Con's coming up, right? And that's where we get a whole ton of news, a whole ton of trailers and teasers, and that's going to be a big show for us, I'm sure, here. Not at the show, but talking about it, Yep. But one of the things that exactly. One of the things that jumped out at me was that they're going to be hopefully or most likely releasing another trailer for Justice League, and this one's going to have Superman in it. Finally, right? He's been absent pretty much.
Yeah.
Black suit mullet.
That's right. So the talk is he's going to show up. He's going to have a black suit on, his old good old 90s mullet, and some angry red eyes, and then boom, it's going to be the end of that trailer. And that's going to be the final one before the movie. So what do you think? That sounds pretty cool to me. But what do you think? Black suit, evil, angry, I almost said Spider-Man. Superman.
I don't know. Evil and angry. I mean, he wasn't evil and angry in the book.
He can be evil and angry.
This is the movie universe, Chris. This is the movie universe. This isn't the book.
No, I understand that, but he was just kind of like
angry.
In the comic itself, he just kind of was just like, "Oh wow, that was a pretty good nap." So like, So what's been going on? Like that was basically his whole attitude when he came back. But
what I miss, guys? What I miss?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I don't know. I mean, if he's gonna be, so are they kind of doing like
that's all we know.
They have to stop him next or something? I mean, maybe.
No, he's gonna be on the team.
Well, right. We talked about this a while back, and kind of my sort of theory on it was that maybe somehow Darkseid brought him back, and that was what you saw at the end of the movie. He might be a little bit mind controlled, and he could possibly be like a first act villain. They free his mind or whatever, and then he joins obviously the Justice League, and then they go after like Steppenwolf or something.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe like a first act type of a spin on that.
he's super angry until Batman says Martha.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, okay, what's up, Bruce?"
And then there's Aqua Martha for Aquaman.
Oh.
Maybe
that's actually not a bad. Like that would be, I think, a bad way to set it up if it's just like he is mind controlled, or something like that. Just loyalty to Apocalypse for some reason, and then they free him out of it, and he becomes maybe I don't know if he comes at the last minute to save everybody or whatever, but you have him just join up with the Justice League. That would be kind of cool. I think that would be a cool introduction for him, and then kind of bring it all together, and then maybe have a stepping stone forward for them to, and it also has a reason to bring Darkseid out, because it's just like, all right, so you were supposed to be on my side, now you betrayed me. I got to handle this shit myself because Steppenwolf can't do it. Fine, let's So you never know, though. You never know.
I could see them going like kind of the Justice League War animated movie, and well, that was part of Justice League, but like maybe they Parademon scoop him up, take him back to Apocalypse or whatever, or throw him in. They reanimate him that way, maybe.
Yeah, they were on an alien planet.
Yeah, right? But it's been done several times where Darkseid has gone after the Kryptonian.
Yeah.
So then mind wipe him or whatever, so he serves him. So
yeah, I mean, there's that story. There's that Elseworld story where he basically landed in Apocalypse instead of landing in Earth, and he was I think it was called Son of Apocalypse or something like that. And I think there was a Justice League episode about it too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's another one we're going to talk about later on as well, where what if he landed in Russia?
Red Sun. I mean, Red Sun.
West. Yeah.
Great story. Great story.
Fantastic story. Yeah, we're going to get to that a little bit later. So
yep. There's one other one that was kind of cool, and this is just keeping with the Elseworld. I don't know if you guys ever read Speeding Bullets.
Yeah.
It's, where the Waynes adopt him instead of Bruce.
They never have Bruce because they find him first.
Yeah, pretty much, and but you see like Batman, Superman in the Batman suit, just kind of with the poses and everything flying around. So. But
but it's weird in that story because like his entire life he's a shut-in and he's afraid to do anything because of his powers.
Yeah.
So like up until he decides to become Batman, he like doesn't leave the house.
You know why? Because he was watching this Frozen DVD. He's like, see, even Elsa can't do stuff.
I hope not. Good God. Seeking Airman said he hopes for a Batgirl cameo. I think he's talking about for Justice League. And then he also said Justice League will be better than Wonder Woman, but then Deadpool, like I said, he's not sure. He's not that hopeful for it.
I don't know. Like I said, I thought Wonder Woman was okay. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not quite. But it's kind of given me a little bit more patience with these Warner Brothers and DC movies. I think that if they build on that, they could have something pretty good. As far as a cameo of Batgirl in the movie, I think it's not really her place. She's not in the Justice League. She's straight Bat family, so it's just like she'd be out of place there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think maybe they were talking about a while back. I don't remember if it was for Gotham City Sirens, the Batman movie, the Batgirl movie, the Nightwing movie, or whatever the fuck it was. Oh. They were talking about Batman was like so busy getting the Justice League together and worrying about all these like big world problems that it left a vacuum in Gotham, and all these villains came out. And that's kind of going to be the plot for one of those movies, where he's got to go back and like clean up the streets.
That makes
sense, right?
I feel like Batman wouldn't do that.
What would he do?
He would have somebody in his place. Like he would make Nightwing or something. We could have a movie of them like watching the city while he's gone. I don't think he leaves the city unprotected.
Yeah.
This is Batman. Come on.
To an extent, because no matter what, I mean, this is, and Dick Grayson's, both as Nightwing and Robin's biggest criticism of him is that he doesn't trust anybody but himself. So even though he's like, I have someone watching it, it's still like, you didn't do a good enough job. Like, let me do it. I know what I'm doing, So who knows? I mean, I actually kind of like that where it's just like, Batman has to go back and take care of things. I also like the fact that there's other protectors in there. I mean, I'll say this much. I'm happy that they have so many I'm happy they have so many ideas of what they want to do for DC properties. Great. Just don't rush them. Let them take their course and build them the right way, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Tell that to Sony too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the Bat family movies, I mean, yeah, there was some talk. Do you guys know who? What's his name? Drake Bell, not Drake the singer, but a different Drake. He's been okay. So there's this dude. I think he was from like Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. Yes. Now I know.
But not Drake the singer. A different Drake.
Yeah. No. I know what you're talking about.
So he's been teasing a lot with like DC and stuff, and everyone's thinking that he might be either Nightwing for the movie, or he will be one of the cast for the Teen Titans live action show. So I think that we're going to be kind of getting some hard and fast news on both of those things, assuming they move forward, especially with Nightwing. But there you go. Drake Bell is a Nickelodeon star, NLC says, so he knows.
Yeah.
So then I would say that he can go to the TV show and not the movie.
Yeah,
I would hope, just because he's not a good Nightwing. He's a little like he's a little stringy, nothing of a kid, and he looks more like a drug addict than he does, like superhero. Like you need someone.
He'd be the Topher Grace Venom of the world, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. He'd be pretty. I don't know. I mean, I say that now. I mean, anybody can hit the gym and get jacked and everything, but I can't see him playing that kind of. I mean, he was like, when you say Nickelodeon stuff, I mean, you're talking about like he was like like Disney Channel, like you know what I mean, just like on those all like little kid shows for a long time, and then I mean, now he's doing nothing, but it's just like, well, at least nothing that I know of, but
But I don't see him being able to kind of be the focus of a movie. You know what I mean? Like I don't see him as that type of a. He doesn't have that much weight. As an actor.
Yeah. Well, as TiVo said on his Comic Fanatics on Sunday, it's just like, you know what? Pump the brakes with that type of like. It's great to announce movies. It's awesome to do that. Awesome.
Maybe he'll play Beast Boy in the TV show.
That I could see him do that. Like that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That I could see. Like because you have someone who's able to be, kind of funny and say things, and that's fine. If you want to be like a little wisecracking guy and all the rest of it, pretty cool. And you give him his, a few serious moments here and there. He fits in that role. He doesn't fit in the role of Dick Grayson, Nightwing. He's not that kind of guy. Because I mean, you look at Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's like a shade less serious than Batman. You know what I mean? It's just like. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's the next successor to Batman. It's just like you got to have somebody who plays the role like straight up. You can't have someone who's like, goofball about it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Kid Flash. Oh, he said maybe Kid Flash. There you go. He could do that too.
That too.
Yeah.
NLC said that he does the voice of Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon
on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean.
If that's true, then no, he could definitely not play Nightwing.
So Justin doesn't like his voice at all. He's like, get that voice out of here.
It's not like it's a Spider-Man voice.
Use that part of the show.
It can never be a gruff like, I'm gonna jump out of the rafters and kill you.
I'm Batman.
Right?
No.
Because Nightwing usually has to be Batman sometimes.
That's true. That's very true. Especially, wasn't it Battle for the Cowl when he had to be Batman, when everyone thought Batman died?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When he got shot through time.
That's right. And he had to travel back, and he did.
Beast Boy is supposed to be young in the Titans, the show, though. And Drake is like 20. And Asian prefer. I don't know about that. Like, not that there's anything. I mean, just Beast Boy.
You're like, Asian? No way.
No, I'm just looking at it like, I just don't understand why. Like, not that there's any problem with it. It's different. I mean, the guy's name is Garfield. It's not like it's, it's just kind of weird. Like he's, I don't see him as a, I mean, maybe that's how they portray him on the cartoon. That's fine. But I don't know.
To be perfectly honest, I don't know enough about the character.
I don't know his backstory.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. So you guys could school us in the chat if you want.
Yeah, go for it. Because I'm just trying to figure out why. That's cool. Do what you gotta do.
We didn't know, man.
That's right. NLC is right. He does the voice of Spider-Man on Disney XD. Speaking of which, this is off the rails.
A non-topic topic
on our crazy train. No,
What?
it's, there's going to be a show coming up. It's a kind of, I think it's a 2-part sort of thing, and it's about Disney. Or not, oh god damn, about Star Wars. And it's kind of like narrated by Maz Kanata, and it's going to have Ahsoka in it, a whole bunch of other female characters from the Star Wars world, from a whole bunch of different, like Rebels, the live action show and stuff. It sounds pretty cool. And I think it's going to be on Disney. It's going to be online first, and then it's going to air on Disney, if I remember correctly. But Sabine's in it, a whole bunch of other characters as well. So that sounds pretty cool. I just wanted to say that real quick and throw that out there right before we say hello to Edwin. How you doing, man?
Mute.
That good, huh?
Good talking to you.
Essentially, I don't know. Just like he's speaking in a different tone that we can't hear.
Told you we were going off the rails. All right, so the next thing I wanted to bring up, there's, with Spider-Man 361, that was a big thing with Carnage, right?
Yeah.
Big thing with that. I don't necessarily want to talk about that or Carnage, but a lot of people were, showing their books, obviously, and a lot of people showed the one with the silver cover, which is the second print, right?
Second print.
Right, and a lot of people are saying, why are those not more valuable because the print run is smaller? So I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. I always grew up saying, okay, the first print is the king, right? That's like the one that you want. But then there were some others, like I'm trying to think, like Walking Dead 100, right? The second print with Negan on the cover is the one that people want. Or there's a bunch of different books where now they put different cover art on there, right? Or you look at, like, say, what was the book? I think it was the Doomsday book. One of the later printings is the one that people want, right? So what are you guys' opinion on, oh, there it goes, on first prints versus second prints, and which one would be more desirable to, generally speaking? So just take it away.
I think it's just ingrained in our brains that we want the original. Like, we want the first of everything, Like, this is the first one they did. That's the second one. That one's different. It's not as cool, Yeah. I mean, that's just how everybody, thinks. That's how we are as collectors. That's the way we've always been.
Yeah, and Seeking Them In actually brought up one, too. Hulk 377, the third print that came out, and I think it came out, 3 years later than the actual first print. I think it was further down the line, and that one's worth a whole bunch of money, just because it's low print run and just kind of something that people weren't expecting. And I agree with Justin. I think that everyone thinks first print is the way to go. I also think that sometimes when it comes to the second print, especially like Carnage and even like the New Mutants 87 and stuff like that. I think people didn't know any better. I think that people were just kind of they just saw it and it's like, oh, gold cover, all right, or oh, look at this silver cover, this is different.
Where it's like the New Mutants 100, like blue and white, they change little things like that. Sex Criminals did something cool, like they had different stuff for all theirs.
Yeah.
But even a lot of the Image books, you can see their second prints being worth something like Saga.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, things like that. But as far as the big two, DC, you almost never hear about any second print stuff from DC. It's just never, it just wasn't done, for whatever reason. So the few that we get out of Marvel from that, I understand why they're not worth as much. As a collector, it's easy enough. You can just get the second print first and wait for a while to get the first one,
Yeah, exactly. I kind of always thought the second print was for the people who just kind of missed out, the first time around. So they're, like that. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about Batman 24. That's actually getting, I think, a fourth. It's going up to a fourth print. Believe it or not, on that issue.
I should have bought more at the time,
which is pretty crazy.
I just got the Tim Sale cover, and I was like, I'm sticking with this one. Actually, I like Biggie's comments on it. He said, "New school collectors think that second prints are more valuable because they were spoiled with ridiculously expensive second prints, like the Kamala Khan and Negan first appearance, which maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't really know. I happen to have the 361 second print. I just saw it for $10 and I just bought it. I mean, this was like 2 years ago. I got it for that. And I was just like, I said it as soon as I got it. I was like, ah, shit, second print. Well, whatever. I'd like to upgrade to the first print. And I guess I waited too long because now it's expensive. But I mean, if Carnage follows suit with all the other Marvel villains, hopefully this one kind of touches down, back to somewhere reasonable.
If it goes along with like all the Sony stuff, because that's like, where, if you talk about the X-Men, like Apocalypse, that first appearance shot up for a minute and then it went back down.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about the hardest part with that, speculating on villains is just that you don't know the plans that they have for the movies. Is it going to be something where, they're like Loki, Thanos, you know what I mean? They've been through multiple movies. You know what I mean? They keep coming back.
Most of them are one and done, though. Like Ultron, for example. Big villain, right? He's been around a long time, but one movie and he's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, and they did innuendo that he can come back because you see you see like the Ultron bot kind of flying away from the media getting ready to fall back down. But I mean, it is what it is. It's gonna be I doubt you'll see him again. You're not gonna see him in that big of a role. If you do again, he'll probably be like something small, like a small nuisance that the Avengers take care of, en route to the bigger picture. But that's the hard part with specking with villains, I guess. Carnage could be someone that you see a couple times on the road because you introduce him in the Venom movie, maybe you have him in the Spider-Man movie as something else later on. But I mean, it's just the toughest part with all that is there are a ton of copies, and that, I mean, if you looked at eBay like this last week, I mean, it was flooded. I mean, everybody and their mother had one, and everybody and their mom wanted a bunch of money for them. And I mean, there were people that were posting on Facebook groups and stuff that they had like 28 of the things, like all stacked around, and it's just like, I actually saw on Instagram today, I saw a guy who had a literal shrine of Amazing Spider-Man 300. It was like at least like 17 books. Just, he had one in a frame, he had one over here. It's just like, like the crazy part with stuff like that is that there's a lot of those. There really are. And, it's more or less you can wait around and get one, but who's going to know? I mean, who's going to, it's all about who's going to blink first when it comes to whether or not, the price is going to go down based on the fact that he's in one movie and gone, or if he's going to be, a stretch of 3 movies, something like that. So it's too hard to spec on villains. I mean, heroes are easy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay. But we can't see you.
Well, this has got to be like that for now. I don't have as great of an internet connection.
Uh oh. All right, so while we're waiting for him, let me shout out a couple of comments in the chat because we got some good stuff.
Yes.
They're talking about villains that, kind of following along with what we're saying. So Spider-Man, Tebow, Lords of the Long Box is here. Nice having you, brother. Spider-Man and Batman Rogues Gallery are always valuable regardless of movie news. Yep. I do agree with that. Deadpool agrees as well. Can't go wrong with Spidey or Batman villains. And then kind of getting back to what we're talking about with the first and second prints. He said it's timing, get a hard artist to do a second print, and maybe it gets valuable. And then he said something a little bit earlier. I'm talking about Lords of the Long Box, by the way. Mm-hmm. He said, what did he say? There we go. I think the only time second printings are worth a deal is if it's a variant cover. And then Gene Pauley's Peter. I can't believe I missed this comment from you. Captain Marvel number 17, second print, is a solid book. So there you go.
Yeah.
But then they're talking about Tim Saleh, Tim Sales art.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been sticking with the cover A's on that. I know he does the cover B's. So
he's got a couple of good. He's got a couple of good of the other ones.
The last one wasn't too bad for issue 25.
No, yeah, it was really good. I actually liked that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done better stuff back in the day, and it's just like I I think having him do covers, where it's just like, he'll do a cover, and then it would be cool if he did one every once in a while. I mean, but I think he's a little bit past his prime with certain stuff. I just like the way that some of them look, so I pick them up when I can. I've done a lot of cover A's, but I kind of mix in some cover B's here and there too.
Who are we talking about right now?
All right,
Tim
guys.
Sale.
Yeah, I like saying Tim Saleh. So let's get into a little bit of Marvel Legacy. If you guys obviously have been reading about it, a lot of big news. It's been talked about here. It's been talked about on other shows. It's been talked about on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. But if you somehow missed that all and been living under a rock, we are getting a – what's the word for it? There's going to be a Marvel Legacy one-shot, which to me, and I'm being pessimistic here, but I think it's just all new Marvel now, .1 with a different name.
Probably.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So the titles, there's coincidentally 52 titles that we're getting kind of relaunched into, this new marketing campaign. I'm going to run through them really quick, and it's going to take me about 30 seconds. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All new Guardians of the Galaxy, all new Wolverine, Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, America, Astonishing X-Men, Avengers, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Cable, Champions, Daredevil, Deadpool, Defenders, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Generation X, Hawkeye, Iceman, Incredible Hulk, Invincible, Iron Man, Jean Grey, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Marvel 2-in-1. We're going to talk about that in a second. Mighty Captain Marvel, Mighty Thor. There you go, Justin. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Moon Knight, Monsters Unleashed, Miss Marvel, Old Man Logan, Peter Parker, The Spectacular, Spider-Man, Punisher, Royals, Secret Warriors, She-Hulk, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, Spirits of Vengeance, and what else do we got? What am I missing?
Falcon.
U.S. Avengers, Unbeatable, Squirrel Girl,
Still,
Venom, Weapon X, X-Men Blue, and X-Men Gold. That took me longer than 30 seconds, but whatever. That's all the title names, so there you go.
and that's all for Legacy?
That's all for Marvel Legacy. And Comically Flawed, actually, he said that Justin did a really good rundown on the Sunday show this past Sunday, and I agree with that. I was listening as well, so good job on that. Yeah, there's a Deadpool. There's a Despicable Deadpool. I just said Deadpool. I didn't say the Despicable part. Yeah. So
to me, though, the only thing that you can tell that changes is Falcon isn't Captain Falcon anymore.
Yeah.
He changed his suit and he's going back to Falcon. There's also no Captain America book, which I doubt is true. I think they're holding some books back. They haven't really opened them all yet.
Yeah, check out the cover for the Marvel 2-in-1. It's got the Thing and Human Torch on it.
Right, Cap's on there.
He's on there, and he's in his traditional suit, not in his Hydra
When
suit.
did you guys say that's supposed to start?
December.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means America is going to make it like 5 more issues somehow.
Why December, though? Because usually at the end of December, beginning of January, you get like some of the lowest sales in comic books. Is there like a movie coming out or something at that time?
No, just Santa Claus is bringing new stuff. Talking about. No, I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's December. So
I think that maybe they're just looking at it where it's just it's a time where you're able to kind of just roll these things out. I don't know if they're going to close up some storylines that they were looking to end or something like that, but I have to say that list has some good things and some. I mean, it seems like you're gonna have to really sift through to find the good stuff. I don't know if everything's gonna be I don't know if everything's gonna be all that great, or if it's gonna even hold its weight as far as everything's concerned. Like Spirits of Vengeance, and I saw the variant cover. They have that variant that's like Giant Size X-Men. It looks really cool, but I mean, are we gonna get be satisfied with what's in that book, or is it just gonna be all right? This is a pretty cool cover, something fun, and then it's just like but the content inside the book sucks. So I don't know. I'm kind of like there's certain titles I won't pick up. So it's really gonna be a roll of the dice with some of these titles
I think it's just one of those things where you're going to have to look and see who's writing each book and who's drawing each book, because
And they
if you
haven't
get,
released any of that yet. There's absolutely
Yeah.
no creative teams announced yet.
Well, it from other things I've read is it doesn't really seem like there's much they're needing, but there's no change.
Mm-hmm.
It's just realistically all we're getting is cover swipes.
another reboot.
Yeah.
$5 cover swipe grab. That's all we're really getting. That's all that's happening.
And that's
$5,
somehow like this whole like, world will not be the same, completely changing the face of comics. No, you're not. You're just changing the trade dressing.
See, initially when it was spoken to me about what Legacy was supposed to be based on people in the comic shop, and so it's kind of gonna be like the 80s and everything kind of got stuck in this alternate universe. So it's just like everything from the 80s, the whole basically middle of the Bronze Age, really like the Bronze and Copper Age kind of got stuck in this Legacy. So all the old stuff is going to basically continue on from there, and then they're going to have their Marvel Now universe, and that's going to be the current stuff. And it was just like, okay, it sounded really weird. I wasn't really too happy with that concept, but it just seems like they're still kind of trying to reach a little too far with what they're doing. It's just like, just make sure that what you're putting out is good and people will buy it. But if you're gonna try all these gimmicks and shit, people are just they pick up a book for a couple issues, and then if they don't like it, just gonna drop it. Cancel more titles and then add some more shit and hope that people like it. And if they don't, cancel those ones, and it's just like the whole revolving door over and over again. And you know how they solve that? A big event, and then that either falls flat or goes.
They can't do an event. They said no events for 18 months after Secret Empire.
You watch you watch this. If there's
if they pull on that, there's going to be a backlash like crazy.
Well,
they're going to be like, this isn't an event. This is a crossover. It's different.
Exactly. They're gonna try to manipulate it and say, well, we're just doing a crossover. Look, Spider-Man and Ghost Rider have to get together, and the X-Men are the only team that can bring them together. So X-Men Gold has to do it. And then X-Men Blue can't be left out. They have to be in it too. So, and Iron Man wants to be in there too. So, and it's just like, so now you get 8 books to read to figure out, but it's not an event. Crossover.
That's right. And one of the things that was kind of intriguing to me was, having the newer characters kind of side by side with, the legacy characters, right? Which is obviously where they get the legacy name from. And I like the fact that there's going to be a Falcon book titled Falcon. That's the first time I think there's been one like that, but it's not going to be 2 Captain Americas. And then the same thing with Thor, right? I mean, it looks based on the cover that they're killing off Jane Foster. Like she's finally going to succumb to her cancer, right? So then there'll be just her. And then where is Odinson in all this as well? Like
he'll get his hammer back.
I guess. But it just seems to fly right in the face of what they were still listening to us in the first place.
Yeah, and the thing that's crazy is, just like Justin said, the $5 cash grab in the beginning, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be a $5 cash grab all the time because everything, there's going to be, variants for every issue. There's going to be a lot of different things going on. And it's just like, they still haven't figured out, drop that price a little bit, and you'll be all right. And you know what? I actually like what Tim just said. Bring back What If. What If is one of the best comic series you can have, just for the fact that it was different. And if they went back and checked some of those stories, like there's a bunch of storylines they could pick up right from there. It's just like, you know what? Here's a bunch of What If comics. Let's just explore where these go. Let's have some storylines based on these.
Yeah, there are so many things they can test out there and have that be the test bed, and it'll be perfect. He mentioned a couple others like Marvel Team Up and Marvel Age.
Yeah.
Marvel Comics Presents. There's so many of those cool books from Bronze and even the Copper Age that, they really should bring back that were a lot of fun.
If the Marvel 2-in-1 does well with Thing and Human Torch, maybe we'll get some of those other titles back or things like that. That would be awesome. That one I'm kind of intrigued about. But I mean, I went through all the covers and everything, and there was only one that I wanted to pick up just based on the cover that I wouldn't normally get anyway, and that was Moon Knight. Like that cover looks awesome. But as far as like any of the other covers of books that I don't normally buy, nothing really pulled me to them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with those books too, and you hit it right on the head, was just like they were fun books. I mean, it was just you had artistic freedom to do what you wanted to do. So let's, this is a one-shot story. Let's just make it fun. Let's just go ahead and put it out there, see what we can do. Grab a couple characters and just kind of, go and just see where it takes you. And it's just, they don't do that anymore. I mean, and on top of that too, some of those covers were just really awesome. I mean,
no,
if you look at the 2-in-1s and everything, it's just like 2-in-1s and like, just a bunch of the titles that they mentioned, Marvel Comics Presents, Marvel Age, Team Up. I mean, some of those just based on the covers, you're like, I'm buying this just because this is a cool.
Exactly, it's because they're cool, right?
Yeah.
Gene Paulius Peters said Journey into Mystery, Tales to Astonish, Tales of Suspense, Strange Tales.
He also wanted Full Bushman #1.
That's right. What if I can't get a single issue of Volume 1?
I don't know if there's
that's right. That's fun. Did you see Jackio's comment? Volume 2 of What If I can't get a single issue of Volume 1.
Nice.
I have a bunch of Volume 1.
I read that completely wrong. I
have most of them.
Yeah.
I went through and bought them up because there's always like fun like X-Men and Daredevil stories in What If, so I like those.
No, there was so many good ones. It was like what if Captain America became the president? One of my favorite what ifs is what if Conan lived in the modern day, he becomes a pimp. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I like the one with Aunt May and Galactus. That one's funny too.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and then the one that kind of became something real, along with a couple others. But what if Jane Foster became Thor? Right. So there you go. There's a perfect example of it being a test bed, and when it works, incorporate it.
That was one of my first like, oh cool, I gotta buy that. That was like when I got back into books. Like that was one of the first ones I got was that she becomes like Thordis or something like that. She doesn't call herself Thor.
That's right. Yeah, so definitely a lot of potential there. Let's just leave it at that. A lot of potential. Let's hope they don't screw the pooch. That's a weird phrase, but it works.
Lords of the Long Box brings up a good point. Like Marvel Premiere, Presents, whatever. Those are good ways to introduce characters.
Exactly.
But they could have used books like that to introduce Riri, to introduce all these other characters that they've just kind of shoved down our throats and replaced
characters.
Nice
with little mini-series. Give them a 6 run.
Yeah.
Here's how she became
give them half the book and the other half's for Groot or Rocket or somebody,
something
fun,
Exactly, yeah.
Just, the big time characters, give them a 6-issue run. The smaller time characters, give them like 2, 3, 2 or 3 to get themselves out there. It's like, oh, like this is a pretty cool story, and then you don't see them for a couple months. Then you bring them back for another one or something like instead of just giving books over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Just we're gonna give this book, we're gonna give that book. Someone who I think can actually benefit from that would be Moon Knight, just because he's been throughout his entire inception, he's been a really tough character to write for consistently. So it's just like, short runs with him actually work out. Something that you can kind of keep up with and understand. But the long runs that they keep trying to do, they always fall flat because people are just like, he's just such a complicated character to write for.
What pisses me off about the promised ongoings is that, with a mini, the creative team goes into it knowing this is going to be 6 issues, right? We need to develop the story to fit that. So you get your beginning, your middle, and your end. They already know where it's going to end. It's set at that. But with the ongoing, it's just story. And then depending on the sales, it's like, we're stopping the book. And then you could be in the middle of an arc or in the middle of something. And it just gets left off that, the next creative team has to somehow figure out what to do with it next,
Yeah.
Yep.
And what kills me too is like, what they have to institute a thing at Marvel, I think at least, where they just let somebody just do a long run. I mean, if you're going to do an ongoing, just commit to it. Like, what? We're doing 12 issues, a whole year long story. Here's this creative team. Oh, they did good in sales. Keep them together. Don't let them leave the book. Just kind of keep them on there like that. I mean, those are the type of runs that you want to have, because those are what establish characters that, you know, keeps continuity tight. You know, and if you look at the John Byrne and Claremont run, and I know it's not fully fair to use those two, but I mean, if you look at that run, that was a great run, and they had, you know, some of the best issues of X-Men come through that. It's just like, you know, if you just have those people go ahead and do, you know, just those nice long runs, it's like, you know what, things are still going well. We'll just keep you guys together, keep all pumping out the story, and then you'll. I mean, because what you know, what modern book could we compare to that? You know what I mean? And say like, you know, they had a great run together that like actually lasted a long time, and the story was solid the whole way through.
Well, they don't care about that no more, and I think we all agreed that continuity isn't going to change no matter how many times they reboot it. They're just going to reboot because it just appeals to new readers. That's all they're looking for is new readers every time. So you're right, man. I think, you know, you do get good stories back then, and will we ever see those days again? I highly doubt it. But as far as the continuity is going to stay the same.
Not until you know, Joe, because I'm on first name basis with him. I'm gonna call him Joe. Joe Quesada and Alonzo are out of there. You know, they think. And I know people have said that, but you know what? Until things change in the C-suite, things aren't going to change in the bookshelf.
I mean, you guys obviously know more about this stuff than I do, but are you saying that Joe Quesada is behind all the reboots?
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's the editor.
He's the editor in chief. Like he's somebody that really when he was like kind of like the president of Marvel, he still had somebody above him telling him what to do. And he was a little bit you know, he was more subdued. He had ideas, but like and he had some good ideas. And then once I gave him the reins, he just kind of went full crazy with it. He's like, you know what, we're gonna try to. It's kind of like he would see what DC was gonna do. He's like, you know, we got to copy them. We got to keep doing what they're doing, and then we got to change this and do that. And it's just like, you know, he's really just kind of done a lot of things that don't fully make sense, and a lot of them you can't really forgive. It's just like, you know, he's changed too much, and it's, you know, you're right, someone else does need to be in charge of that. But I mean, the question is though, who, and you know, is it someone that we can trust as far as you know, putting out quality? Because I mean, a lot of the creators that we wanted, that we grew up with, that, you know, would put out that quality, they're all old now. It's all these
they're an image of DC.
Yeah. So all the younger people, you know, you gotta be I guess leery of what they think and want and stuff. So
yeah. Alan Fine. Alan Thick. No, Alan Fine.
Yeah, but also remember that we are getting the legacy numbering back on some books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's going to make it harder for it to. I mean, that means it's not an actual like reboot. That they're just
Amazing Spider-Man 701.
To me, that's just a way to do number one, but not have it be number one. Everyone compares to
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm being pessimistic again, but you know what? It is what it is.
I'm also curious how long that's going to stay that way too, because one of the biggest criticisms we hear from new readers, and I'm not knocking new readers, I understand, but it's like, oh, you know, so if I look at this, you know, Spider-Man, you know, 840, it's like I had to go back and read, you know, 839 of the issues. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? No, it's true. And it's not like at first I thought it was like a really like stupid way to think. I was like, oh, okay. Until I actually heard people that I know like talking like that. Like, yeah, dude, I gotta read all these other books to know what happened right now. Like, no, just buy this book, open it, keep going. But that's what new readers' mentality is. Where it's just like, I can't get the whole story, so it's not fair.
Well, you should let the new readers know. Like, look, they let you know a brief history of the character in the opening interior pages of most comic books. You know, you don't need to read all that stuff. They catch you up for the most part in just like a page.
Jumping off points too, you know.
Well, yeah, of course. But you know, when you look at the new readers, you're looking at people that most likely are into the comics because of the movie, so they get spoon-fed everything. They don't want to have to, like, I don't want to read a page and a half of dialogue about why this character is who they are. I just want you to tell me what it is, and I want you to start it from the beginning so I can know, so I can come along on the journey. Because if I have to get on it, like you said, get on and get off point, I don't want that. I want to have my get on point, and I want it all spoon-fed and given to me the right way. It's just like, you know, if you don't, and I'm not trying to be I guess I'm going to sound like a snob about it, but it's just like, you know, if you don't have any long, if you're just starting out, you can't really complain. You just got to kind of just dive in and start your collection from the beginning. And then if you want to work back, perfectly fine, work backwards. But, you know, it's just like we all had to do it. We all jumped in at a certain point. Like, you know, if you started reading Batman, you didn't go back and get Detective 27. Like, you just was like, all right, you know, Detective Comics 638. All right, this is the first Batman.
Well, that's why we said I like what DC is doing, because their stories are only 3 to 5 issues long, and then they go to a different story.
Yeah. Hey, listen to this. Check this out. So tell me what this is after I read some of it. So, so the initiative was teased. It's not a reboot, but it's a movement to restore some of what fans have been missing in recent years. And then it goes on to say, aims to do the same while restoring a. Hang on a second. Something started up.
Yeah, I can hear your audio.
Huh?
I can hear something playing in the background.
Some type of ad. All right. So, while also restoring a focus on a shared universe, there's going to be a big one-shot coming out. The main titles will be renumbered, so they'll get some legacy numbering. And then they also talked about answer a lot of questions. Hang on one second. I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me.
They're not going to go twice a month like DC is, are they?
And then, so it's beyond a back to basics approach, and he said it's much more than that, and they're going to be bringing back a lot from the past, but looking forward to the future, to just kind of have that firm eye on the future. So does that sound like legacy to you? Does that sound like a description?
That sounds like a description for Rebirth. I think that was the description of Rebirth.
It was.
I knew it. I could tell you. You know why? What gave it away from me was you said it's going to be a one shot. I was like, all right, the Rebirth one shot. There you go. Like, so I knew it. So that like that's the thing. Marvel needs to stop trying to copy what DC's doing. Like, DC is its own thing. And what made Marvel successful is they were completely different from them in the way of that how they would just go ahead and be like, you know what? You got these titles, we got these. We're gonna do this. You know, you zig, we zag. You know what I mean? We aren't as strict on our continuity. You guys are super strict over it, because DC was very strict and stringent on how story had to go and how certain characters were used and everything. And for me, it's just like, you know, you can't keep doing that. Make your own way. Like, do what made you famous in the first place. Stop trying to be another company. Just like DC shouldn't try to be them in the movie universe, they should stop trying to be DC in the comic universe. Just stop copying them. Do your own thing.
Like when I was coming to meet you, that guy was running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is a rare occasion that Marvel actually is copying DC. It's usually the other way around. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
actually, I think that to some extent now the role has switched with the movies as well. You know, because with Wonder Woman, female character did really well. Marvel's going to be kind of scrambling. You know, obviously Captain Marvel's coming up, but kind of scrambling to have like a big female role, you know, of their own to put out there. And they got Batgirl coming out and all these things. So I think that not 100%, but in some aspects, they're kind of catching up with DC on that side of things as well.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I agree with that. Like, I think that they're just like Marvel's just really taking themselves into a direction that they shouldn't be. And Biggie said that, you know, they're digressing, and I think they're right as far as their comics are concerned. Like, they're too focused on making you know, the movie and TV show you know, viewers into readers, and not worried about the people that like us who've been reading the whole way through, and just like, dude, I don't want to stop reading these newer books, because I want to keep up with it. I want to have that, but it's just like, you know, it does suck when you see, like, you know, that the stories are just kind of not really all that great, and then, you know, just the business model behind it, and then you get a story going, like you said, you get an arc going, you're into it, and then all of a sudden, oh, sales are down. We're just gonna kill this book because, you know, sales ain't what they used to be. So it's tough. It really is. And I think you know, was it Tim made a good point too, back a little bit when you were saying that you know, he thought that basically Marvel started to slip back with the Secret Wars 2. Figured that, you know, that got them in a little bit of trouble just because the fact was, you know, they hyped that book up and it couldn't hold the candle to the first one. And, you know, that was something that, you know, once they had done it, they couldn't really cover it up. It just was out there and it stunk. So, you know, I think they just think that, I think right now they just kind of need to find their own identity. And I don't know if going back to the legacy numbering and all that is going to help them out. They need to really just kind of figure out what they want to be as a company, and just go with it.
They're going to be whatever pays the most money. That's what they're going to be.
No, and that's true, but it's just like, but you know, the high prices and everything else. If you, let's put it this way, if you have good stories, quality stories, and you know, just something that grabs the readers and makes them want to read, you'll make plenty of money. You know what I mean? If you can justify a book being $5 because it's that good, all right, people will buy it. But if it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna throw it out there and get some, you know, we're gonna get J. Scott Campbell to do variants on it, and we're gonna charge you all this money because, like, you know, we have the top artists, you know, in the world.
In a $5 issue, we don't have 20 pages of just a regular comic and then a bunch of little side stories by unknown artists.
Yeah. And beautiful cover, but the interiors just suck.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know what else? Actually, I mean, and I know it's just a sign of the times and everything, but what would probably help them out is if there was less ads and shit. That's just me. I mean, I know that the ad revenue is what helps put the books out there, but it's just like, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, if you have a 32-page comic, you know, 8 pages of it shouldn't be ads, and if it is 8 pages of ads, then, you know, we should get an extra 8 pages of comic to go along with it. You know what I mean?
Or do like some of the other companies and sure, have your ads, but don't put them in the middle of the story. Maybe just put them like those 8 pages at the end of the book.
Exactly. But
yeah,
you know,
but
as long as they don't go back to that like half page ad junk. Remember DC did that for a minute?
You know what got me was that damn Snickers thing.
Snickers commercial.
Day. I was like, oh, he's in the story. Oh wait, that's her.
Exactly.
I was like, damn it,
Yep.
again. But you know, the crazy thing about Legacy is not obviously that's a thing unto itself, but there's going to be a whole bunch of other events and stories and things going on at the same time, right? Like Venomverse is going to be going on, and you know, a bunch of other things at the same damn time, right?
Yeah. I'm wary about Venomverse. I really am. I don't know that I can trust it to not be you know, Inhumans versus X-Men or you know, I guess the newer version of Secret Wars 2, where it's like, you know, we're gonna do the same exact concept, just with, you know, a Venomized character, all these Venomized characters, and hope it works out, because it's just like, you know, unless you're introducing new characters that make sense, that you know, new characters that people haven't seen before, you're not gonna recapture that. You're just gonna have a bunch of people, you know, a bunch of Venom fans thinking that I gotta buy this because it's Venom on it. It's just like, I don't know, like I'm leery. Like I'm a lot more, I guess, stringent when I buy comics now, like especially like event comics. I kind of look them over before I buy them. That's when I definitely will look over it before I buy it. It's just like, I want to make sure that it's okay, you know. And yeah, bring back the Dr. J ads at the end of the book. That was those were fun.
The milk ads, those are good.
I must say though, the new Venomverse, the new Venom that comes out tomorrow looks really, really sick. You know, it's just like that all new Wolverine with the Wolverine Venomized variant, but it's not a variant, it's just the regular issue. Sick cover.
What is the story of Venomverse?
I'm sorry?
What is the actual story of Venomverse? Like what is the concept here?
I don't know. I just thought it was lots of Venom. I was cool with that.
That's not a story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just fan art, man.
I know. I don't know yet. I mean, I didn't read it.
Yeah.
You know what?
There's going to be another month of Venomized covers too. They did all the heroes. Now they're doing villains and stuff. Have you seen
I
that?
mean, business-wise, it's just preparation and hype build to the movie that's supposed to be coming out soon. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
But, you know, Justin had the best comment on it. It's just like, literally, if all it is just all these like different Venom, it is just fan art. I mean, there's going to be fan art with text bubbles, and I mean, there's got to be something that makes it worthwhile. If there's no new character introduced, if it's just 6 issues or 8 issues or however many it's going to be of just here's a Venomized version of Mockingbird. Oh, and look, Venomized Hawkeye and Venomized Vision over here. It's just like
they're doing Venomized Ego, the Living Planet.
Okay, I mean, what's
now Venom's a whole planet?
On that cover, he is, yeah.
But
Wow.
then, so here's my question. Then what's different from doing that and Marvel Zombies?
Do the synopsis.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear what actually synopsis has to say about it.
Okay, first off, interior art is crappy normal Marvel on now.
That's what it says.
It is no, but I'm just saying. I'm looking at a few pages, and we'll just start with that. The interior art, not anywhere near what the cover is. But Edge of Venomverse. Okay, the series sets up the blah, 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 blah. Each issue introduces another major Venomized character that will feed into the Venomverse itself. Issue 1, a young mutant clone designated X-23 collides with a cybergenetic tube containing a strange alien symbiote. During her frenzied escape from the facility, bonding with the alien enhances her ability to... So basically, X-23 gets Venom on her when she is escaping.
Okay. And then, so basically it's...
Each issue is going to be about a different character.
So it's not even really... All right, well, I mean...
But from this, we're not getting new characters. We're getting pre-existing characters that get Venom on them.
Okay. So then my question again was just going to be, so what's different between that and like Marvel Zombies? Like Marvel Zombies, I mean, other than it being a random character, but it was just like who can we zombify in this issue? Okay, like these guys bite these ones, and now I mean, because at the end it was the whole universe was zombies, but minus like maybe like 4 or 5 heroes total, and it was just like it didn't really do much. I mean, I won't say that. I mean, it was a fun story based on just that, but it's just like this, like I said, I'm a little wary on it just because I feel like they're trying to recapture.
Well, to me, it seems like what they're going to do with this is they're going to give us the Edge of Venomverse issues. Each issue is going to be about some character that had Venom at some point, right?
Yep.
For whatever reason. And then at the end of it, they're all going to have to come back together to do something. That's all they could do with this. Because it's telling us stories from the past,
Yeah. I mean, I understand, I guess. It's just, like I said, I'm definitely kind of approaching it with caution. I don't think that it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be anything, value-wise. It's like, oh, like, you got to get this book. This new character came out. It's going to be crazy. I mean, especially based off what you said, where it's just, it's existing characters, no one knew. And guess what? Every issue is going to be somebody different. It's not. There's not really much story there.
No. So I'm going to pass on Edge of Venomverse. Not picking it up.
I'll pick it up for you.
Okay, go for it. I mean, it's a $4 book some magical way.
Yeah,
I'm surprised number 1 wasn't a $5.
Yeah, Biggies agrees with me, which is awesome because it's just like, you know what, I'm happy that I mean, I'm at least happy to have my suspicion, I guess. Just kind of to know that I'm not just a crazy conspiracy theorist, like, oh my God, this is what's happening. It's just like, I think that we're smarter than that. I think as collectors, we're smarter than that to fall for that type of stuff. And I think that we need to be. I really do think we need to be a little bit, just because this is the type of stuff that really just, leads us into where it's just like we miss the comics that we used to have because of the fact that, we bought all this other crap, and it's just like, and they think they can just keep feeding you all this, garbage over and over again. Meanwhile, the books of substance are gone. It's just like, and then you're moving on to something, you're moving on to indie books or whatever it is, just to try to get actual stories that you want to read.
Yeah, I mean, It's just I'm glad I saw this now.
Yep. See?
Because, like, I'm glad I looked at this preview before tomorrow because the interior art alone is not worth my $4.
Which book are you looking at? You still looking at Venomverse?
Edge of Venomverse.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm picking up cover A and cover B. I just like the covers. I just like the covers. I'll be straight up with you.
You know?
Yeah. You know, so I'm gonna, you know, send them off to be graded, and they're in the slab anyways, and you know.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, to each his own. That's what I will say. To each his own. No one needs to sit there and you know, feel ashamed on you know, getting whatever. Like, you know, you can do what you got to do.
Well, like Jesse always says, collect what you like. Shoot.
Yeah, you know, as much as I love a damn good story and I love the cover and the interior to be great, you know, I will be the first one to say I'll pick up a book just because I like the cover. You know, how many times do you flip it through the dollar bin and you don't know what the fuck that is, but you like the cover and you just get it?
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So same thing.
I hear you. It's just, you know, I think people tend to be more, you know, more scrutinizing when it's, you know, not the dollar bin. When it's like, oh, like this is
yeah, it's different.
$4 or $5 here, man, or more. I mean, sometimes, you know, you're looking at a book that, you know, like if you're looking at a J. Scott variant, it's just like, oh, like this is going to be like $20. Like I got to figure out whether this is worth it or not. I mean, just because, you know.
Yeah. I got like 3 Red Sonja books all because of the J. Scott Campbell covers. I didn't even read the book. I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Dang it.
You know what? I'm not gonna. I like my beautiful covers. But while we're talking about covers, though, John Tyler Christopher, who we've had on the show, really cool guy.
Yep.
He does obviously, or has done, the action figure variants now for a couple years, and have been pretty damn awesome. But from what it looks like, he's done with that. He's stopping, and he's not done with covers, but he's moving to like trading card variants. I know that they're coming out with, you know, the trading card month with all the remastered Jim Lee covers, but it looks like right after that, and I think he's doing the cover for Astonishing X-Men, which comes up pretty soon. Kind of moving forward from there, he's going to be doing action figure. Excuse me. I'm just so used to saying that with him. Yeah, trading card variants. So the first one's going to be a really cool Psylocke cover. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of untapped potential there. There's been years and years of cards and a full net 100 for each one. You know.
And kind of good for him. Like, I'm sure he's tired of doing the action figure thing, you know? He's done it for going on like 3 years now, plus or minus. Plus the other action figures he does, not even talking about the covers, but the actual box art and stuff like that. Right. So for him to get to do something different, I'm sure he's super pumped about it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like the way, I mean, some of those trading cards have some great images and art on them. So I remember, was it last year? Oh no, earlier this year when Joe Jesco was doing some of the you know, Marvel Masterpiece cover, you know, type of art on some of the covers.
Oh, the corner box ones.
Yeah. I picked up the Spider-Man one. It was really like nice looking. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's pretty cool to see that, you know, they're gonna go back to that. You know, just that variant. It's kind of fun, and especially if you have, like, I mean, if you happen to have a box of those cards, you know, and you can kind of compare and contrast, like, oh, this is pretty cool. So that seems like it'd be pretty fun. And on top of that, too, it's for him, it's going to be different to showcase his art because, I mean, the action figure pretty much was the same thing. You know, you draw just, you know, different characters, costumes, things like that. But this is a completely different image, you know, and you kind of have to, you know, I guess just be good enough to show or at least convey the same message that the original artist was trying to do. So these could be a little bit more fun, I think. I think these would be a lot more expressive and more fun to have.
Is this the beginning of card collecting coming back again?
Nope, probably not. I mean,
unless, you know, nostalgia or whatever, but yeah.
All right.
Jesse, didn't you already buy some though, right?
I have picked up a couple, you know, it was for nostalgia. But I did
your video.
Yeah, there's unknown comics. It's just one of the online retailers who does a lot of the exclusives. So they what they did was they they have the regular solicited covers through Marvel, right? So they picked from that year. I think it was 92 or whatever, that trading card set.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that they didn't pick, they said here to the retailers, you can pick these. You can do your own exclusive cover, but it has to be, one of these images. So Unknown, and it's out. I mean, it's no secret now. It's on the page. Is doing a cover for Magic, and I've told you guys, I like that character. So I actually went, and I just kind of on a whim, I went and I bought the actual card that will match the cover art. Which it was a couple bucks. I mean, it wasn't anything,
Right.
The card was, not the book. So I don't know if anybody else will do something like that, but I just thought it would be kind of cool to have, the card to go with the cover. I'm not going to go too crazy with those. I just, only for the characters I like type of thing.
Well, if you think about it, nostalgia is what got us all back into comics. I mean,
Yeah.
every single one of us were out of comics for, I'd say, at least 10, 15, 20 years. And then that trigger just got us back into it.
I was kind of on and off for a while. I mean, I remember, I had I would always come back for the big story, and then just keep going with the titles that I liked. But I took breaks for. I would take maybe like a 1 or 2 year break in between, but I always find my way back to it. So I ended up taking like a long break like that, like 15 years. That'd be too long for me. But but
I did.
I did not like. I mean. I kind of do wish I had collected during, those big break periods because, I mean, there's so many books that you could have got for way cheaper. But,
I remember listening to, what was the name? I forget, some YouTuber saying that he sifted through a whole bunch of Walking Dead #1s, but didn't pick it up because he didn't like the artwork.
Oh, man. Hindsight.
No, I didn't sift through them. No. I didn't sift through them. I had it picked up. It was in my hand, and I was just like,
no way.
Black and white comics. Boop.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did I know? It was called The Walking Dead. The art looked cool. The next thing I know, I'm just like,
oh yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Snobby Chris is like black and white comics. No. Color or nothing.
Yeah.
But at the time though too, I'm just getting over like the shiny cover.
What, they couldn't afford a colorist? What the fuck?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of 10 years, it's funny you mentioned that, Chris, because Wolverine #80 came out in 1994, and it wasn't until about 10 years later that we got Innocence Lost and X-23.
Yes.
You like that transition?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was actually, I think, was it debunked today or recently? So Wolverine #80, everybody who bought that book, and for those who did and paid a lot of money for it, I do feel for you because, they came out today or recently and said no connection whatsoever. That test tube has nothing to do with X-23, even though it says X-23 on it. That test tube and Laura Kinney completely separate. So everybody who's like, the first appearance is this? Nope. Sorry.
Yeah.
You've been had, and they took a long time. They waited for everybody to pay a whole bunch of money, but...
Hold on a second. So you're telling me, and I apologize, I don't know everything about everything, but you're telling me Wolverine #80 is irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a coincidence. I mean, 23,
Wow.
It sounds like, hey, that, why they picked 23. But if you think about genetics, there's 23 chromosomes and stuff. It's a very appropriate what they're doing, right? So it's not as much of a coincidence as people want to kind of make it to be. So, in the movie, wasn't she the 23rd experiment or whatever? Right. It was different for the movie, right? We're talking about, I guess, comic book kind of connection.
The comic came out in what,
94. It was April of 94.
Yeah, a while ago.
Like Chris Yost said,
top player was Michael Jordan.
It was Craig Kyle was the one that said. He said Kyle was the guy. He said, nope. He's like, I mean, he was on the book, and he's like, it has nothing to do with X-23 whatsoever. He says basically it was all fan interpretation that did that. So we basically did that to ourselves. So
that's right, we did.
We created the area.
So to play devil's advocate there, I've never sort of ascribed to the fact that it had any connection to her mythos, but you could think, well, maybe he's just saying no, because if it was actually it was Al Milgrom, I think, right at the time on the book.
I think so. Yep.
Then the rights would go to him, not to the was it Craig or was it Chris Yost who said it?
It was Craig Kyle.
Okay, so then the rights would go to Al Milgrom or whoever versus Craig Kyle. So, and again, playing devil's advocate, but maybe there was a little bit of that in there as well.
I mean, who knows? I mean, if it is just something where someone's trying to kind of where Kyle is just basically trying to deflect and say no, that got nothing to do. It's all me.
I guess we'll just have to wait until somebody gets it slabbed from CGC so we can see what the label says.
Well, CBC added two B's. CBCS has a couple that say first X-23 mention, first mention of X-23 on it. So it's already on to some labeling.
So it goes mention cameo first appearance.
Yeah,
well, mention slash cameo, and that's
second,
the thing,
third, first cover, second cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Joined the team, left the team, died, reborn.
Referred to in panel 4.
Yeah, that's that. What is it? That's them on a computer screen.
Right,
Edwin. Talking about Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that he paid $10 for. He's like, I paid $10 to pay one, and Edwin had the sound of somebody who got holes in that deal because he was just like, "What are we talking about here? Wait a minute. What do you mean that's not the right one?" This is like, oh. And I mean, it happens though. It happens like that. Like, that would be like everybody who will argue with you about Hulk 180 and be like, look, 180 is the first Wolverine. It says it on the back of this. Was it the first trading cards that they had? It says it right on the back of that Hulk 180 is that, and it's just like, yep, nope. Everybody decided that 181 is his first appearance.
There's a huge, giant image of Wolverine at the end of that book that leads
and
right
he's
in
talking.
it's a full, like, huge, full page panel
with dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in everybody else's eyes. Like not the general public, or I don't know who. I mean, because that book has been around for so long that somebody went ahead, somebody with some polls like, nope, it's going to be 181.
It said 180 in Overstreet for the longest time too.
Yeah. And but that's the way it goes. So I mean,
I think at some point, somebody threw in that like cameo clause. No. We'll just say those are cameos.
I think so too, and
that way you have to get both,
right?
Yeah,
it happens a lot with like Bronze Age, Silver Age. Silver Age, there's no question, and it's just like, no, this guy appeared in this book the first time here. The Bronze Age is where you started seeing people being like, well, this is a kind of a cameo. Well, it wasn't. I mean, this is like his shoe was in the picture, so that's his cameo. And then there's this one, and then the Copper Age did it too because Venom's first cameo is
Web of Spider-Man 18.
Spider-Man 2018.
The hand? Was it the hand?
Yeah,
Yep.
hand.
Yeah.
And then it's I think it's a hand and then like a shadow figure. And then I think it's like 124 is like another one. And it's
Number
just like
24,
yeah, and it's just like, so it's just
but that wasn't even confirmed until like years later.
Well, yeah, and then so you look at those two, so that's two way back wherever, and then you go and you have 298 and 299, which are his cameos again, and the reason being, I think, at least the way it was explained to me was the reason being that like the 4 cameos exist in that way is because Venom, as we all know him now, wasn't supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be completely different. And what happened was that the original artists that had the vision for it and everything like that, they had changed it, and then they gave it to Tom McFarlane, and Tom McFarlane kind of went in one direction with it, and it just ended up sticking that way. And then Eric Larson kind of changed the look of Venom to make him more savage looking, and that's how we got to where we are today with him.
But you're right, we do it to ourselves, because I actually remember back in the day, Superman number 66, Panic in the Sky, that was kind of a hot book for a while, because a lot of people thought that was the kind of the origin of Doomsday, where Brainiac or whoever that green guy is kind of releases this sphere in space, which you don't see where it goes or what happens to it. and then like a few issues later, you get Doomsday trying to punch through this metal object, and so a lot of people speculated, thinking that that sphere that was dropped was actually the first appearance of Doomsday, and years later has nothing to do with Doomsday. So
yeah, I mean, it's always it's weird like that, and I think that in some cases it's people in Overstreet who are just like, you know what, this is this one, and then once enough people, I mean, I guess in situations like that, I mean, there's no actual like structured vote on it, where it's just like, all right, which one is it, which one isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just if enough people keep buying it and saying that that's what it is, that's what it becomes. So
yeah, the market determines what it is.
Yeah,
and then people list it that way on eBay, and it takes off. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I can't tell you how many auctions I look at and see auctions and buy it nows and whatever, and it's just like movie coming because based on there's a movie you'll see it's the first appearance of and it'll be like the first appearance of someone stupid like Killer Moth or something like that, like movie in the works, Killer Moth is coming, you'll see. It's like,
well, it's like what y'all said, you just need to just buy them all. Just buy them all.
Oh, it's easy to do that if you got if you're rich. It's just like what's the point? I mean, because I think honestly too, you also have to curb you have to kind of curb the enthusiasm on some of this stuff and just be like, you know what, I'm only gonna get these appearances. I'm gonna stick with these characters here. Like my thing with like Daredevil, I fell into. Like I wasn't a big Daredevil fan growing up, and then had that big sale at my local shop, and I was able to pick up a lot of Daredevil issues for very cheap. So I was like, all right, I started reading them. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool character. So then I started thinking about how far back I was gonna go with it, and which appearances I wanted to get, and everything like that. And I'm just kind of like little by little building up on it, but I'm at peace if I don't get certain stuff. Like if I never get Daredevil 158, I'm at peace with that. I don't need to have that. I really want to get 131 because that's the first first appearance of Bullseye. I'd like to get the first appearance of Typhoid Mary later on down the line, just because, and that initially is for speculation, just because I figure. With a TV show, you have a little bit more safety as far as whether with a villain, because they're not just going to kill a villain right off. Like you at least get a whole season of them before they die. And with Daredevil being such a new show, they're not going to kill off anybody main or major like that. Like Bullseye, I highly doubt when they introduce him, if they introduce him, that he'll die in the first season. I think that he's going to be I think he's going to end up being around for at least a couple seasons. Typhoid Mary.
Even Wilson Fisk, they've kept Kingpin around for a while.
Yeah, Kingpin not only is going to be around, and that's it, he's going to bounce to other ones too. Like you'll see, because he basically is. I would say I think he's more the Thanos of that universe. Along with what's his name, Madame Gao too. Madame Gao has been involved, I think, in 3 separate series already. So it's
He was in Luke Cage too.
Who was in Page 2?
No, I'm saying she was in Luke Cage also.
Yeah, she was in Luke Cage. She was in she was in Iron Fist, and then she was in Daredevil. So it's just like I would say if you are gonna speculate on a villain who's not so, I mean, you can speculate on Galactus all day. Galactus is a huge villain, and that book's never going down. Thanos, another one. That book's never gonna go. It goes up every year, but
because Marvel's doing it right, Disney's doing it right. I thought about it before. You don't need to be killing off your villains in one 90-minute movie. Keep the villains around, man.
Well, but even without that, though, it's just like Iron Man 55 has been going up for years and years. And the thing is, I think TV show villains are a little bit easier. I just think that they don't get the same kind of jump that you see a movie will get. So that's pretty much that's pretty much one of the drawbacks to the movies, where it's like movies will give you that quick burst, but they also you also get a quick decline, whereas TV show, you'll get a burst, it'll be up and steady, and then it's just like depending on how popular the character gets and how then you'll see it kind of like rise up. Like I mean, a great NLC was saying Madame Gao / the Hand is the Hydra of the Netflix shows, and that's true. And that Hand issue, the first issue of the Hand, or the first appearance of the Hand, which I think is Daredevil 174, that's seen some pretty good growth. I mean, just because they've
I have it.
2 series, right? 174.
Yep.
You had it right there.
Yep.
Nice.
But that's that's a book that has seen some pretty good growth just because it's gone into 2 series and it just keeps sticking around. It's just like it's a book I don't have and I should have bought it. I should have bought it before the Daredevil series came out. Definitely should have bought it before season 2, but I didn't, and I probably won't be able to get it for the price that I want it for. But it's okay. Eventually, maybe, but if not, no big deal. But I think that when it comes to books that was just like get all these appearances, just you kind of have to gauge out what you want versus what you need. And if you're doing it to complete a run, great. But it's just like unless you get a rich uncle that no one knows about, or if you get like just a ton of money, you're gonna go broke trying to get all that stuff. So it's just like better off just kind of just pumping the brakes here and there, and just knowing that not everything needs to be in your collection. You know what I mean? It gives you just, if you own everything, then what's the point in collecting?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get here from John T. Christopher stuff or from him doing action figure variants?
we were talking about
You know how it is. We're all over the place.
I'm just saying that's where this
Wolverine
Chris is all over the place.
Wolverine 80 is what got us here, because we were done with the we had moved on from the variants and stuff to this.
That's right. Yeah, no, we're talking about years later, us as the collectors kind of dictating what might have been a first or a cameo or whatever.
Yep.
But it seems like it kind of happens as well with the movies, and a perfect example of that is something that's on our list, which is it was fan fiction for a while, but it was finally confirmed that in Iron Man 2 there was when Ivan Vanko came down, they were doing the fair.
Yep.
There was a kid who came out with an Iron Man mask on and stood up to him. So Feige and Tom Holland both said that was Peter Parker under the mask. That was Peter Parker. So now it's official. It's canon that ever since Iron Man 2, Peter Parker has been a part of the MCU.
So Peter Parker was a big Iron Man fan, basically.
Big Iron Man fan, which makes sense because he's in the movie. Now he kind of had that rapport with him.
Tony Stark,
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's logical for a Peter Parker character. That's the kind of stuff that he's into.
Mm-hmm.
So I can totally see them doing that.
Did they plan that out that way, or is this just one of the happiest coincidences they could have ever wished for?
Mm-hmm.
I think, they just kind of went back to it. Because of the movies now.
I'm gonna say that Spider-Man. It's just it's all gonna tie together. It's gonna be perfect.
We'll have to see if sales of Iron Man 2 start to go up or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Spider-Man tie-in. I gotta get it.
So there was that. What was the other thing we were gonna talk about? Oh, you know what? There was something I was gonna mention, but I'm gonna skip it because it's spoilery.
Oh, spoiler!
No. I can say it in a way that's not spoilery. We're talking about Spider-Man being part of the MCU. It's also confirmed that Miles Morales exists somewhere in the MCU as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's all we'll say about it, because anything more might be a spoiler, right? So I did. What's up?
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah. I did want to mention that Deadpool 2 started filming today. Up in was it Vancouver? Yep,
Yeah.
Vancouver, BC.
Yeah.
Where they film everything.
That's right. Well, between there and Atlanta.
Yeah, but I'm saying all the CW shows are up there in Vancouver.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to get some lot of news coming out and set photos and all that type of stuff,
Awesome.
It's going to be coming on fast.
I'm so glad they're finally on that, man. Dude.
Yeah.
Just because, after all the hype and all the trouble that was saying,
Yeah.
like, I was nervous because I figured that, it would be a shame that, if they didn't get it going. It's just like, we got Cable, we got Domino, everybody's cast, and it's like, yeah, the director and this one can't get along. Like, shit.
Well, I think that's what held them back for so long, was trying to figure out who was going to play Cable.
Then we got Josh Brolin.
That's right.
Thanos.
I still think Stephen Lang would have been good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that but I can't really define the logic for Josh Brolin other than they already have him on a Marvel project. He's already invested in the cinematic universe, so just let him do something different. He's never going to be on screen as Thanos. So
yeah, I mean, I said Stephen Lang, but don't get me wrong. I think that Brolin will do really well with it too.
Yeah,
Just shoot Deadpool on his off days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I just want to hear him say something. He's got to say something about he'll hit him so hard that his clothes will be out of style. He's got to say something like that to him. Like, I want a Goonies reference.
Oh.
Wait, I'm going to hit you so hard your clothes are going to be out of style.
He could just run up and go, "Hey, you guys."
That'd be funny. I bet you that there are a Goonies reference in there. Something dumb like that will come through and it'll be funny.
Yeah,
Easter egg.
Yep.
that's right. Yeah, I hope Bob is back. They can't call him Hydra Bob, but they can call him Bob.
Yep.
Right. Pretty sure he'll be back. So I know that, I don't know if he's still with us, but Lords of the Long Box mentioned earlier something about a Red Sun, Superman Red Sun live action movie. They were talking about pitching that. I know that the studio for now said no. I mean, it makes sense because where would it fit? Like, that's an Elseworld story. Where would it fit in their extended U?
Yeah.
They've been trying to do it since for a few years. I like the idea of it, but I think it would fit better as an animated. I think it would fit there as like a standalone WB animated movie.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think?
Easy. Oh no, that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, because the animated DC, even though they want to get that live action universe started and everything, they really want to establish it. Don't forsake the animated, because when it comes to animated movies, they still are the number one. I mean, they put out great stuff, and it's just like, why mess with something why mess with it if you don't have to? It's just like, keep it animated. Let all the Elseworld stuff be animated, but everything that you're trying to establish that universe first, and before you start going off on tangents and what ifs and everything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be too confusing to people.
I was saying I could even see that as a TV series, like an HBO or something like that. A dark Superman series, but an actual feature-length live-action film. I think it'd be the same thing of them just like adding too much into it or cutting too much out to take away from the actual like the greatness of. I mean, that was a great story. Superman Red Sun is.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it get something where it could be like kind of fleshed out a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I like the concept of it, absolutely, but I think people would be like, "Wait, what? There's two Supermen, or what happened here?" Like,
Yeah, exactly.
What? I thought he landed in Kansas, not Russia, and right now it would be a good way to introduce Bizarro, but I mean, I don't know. It would be too confusing. Even for me, I'm trying to wrap my head around how could they possibly fit that into the DCEU, and it just can't. I mean, even though it's like, set now. Well, Wonder Woman wasn't, but it took place in the 50s, right? It's definitely Cold War era. I think it was
Wonder Woman.
No.
Red Sun,
Red Sun.
Yeah.
Oh, Red Sun.
Yeah.
I think it was set in the 50s, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but no.
That was when it started, but then, he'd been in power for quite some time.
Yeah.
Because Bruce was a kid when he took power or whatever. So Bruce Wayne grew up underneath the reign of basically Soviet Superman.
Right. And then, I mean, we could
just talk about that story for a couple hours.
That's right. It'd be easy. Start at the beginning and go through. No, it's a fantastic story. And a lot of those Elseworlds, really. I mean, I don't hear a lot of talk about them, but there's so many fantastic stories there. We were talking about the what ifs earlier. This is like the DC what ifs,
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff there.
DC's actually done a really good job too of collecting some of their Elseworlds into trades and things like that, so you can just grab them all and read them. Whereas I don't think I've ever seen a what if trade from Marvel.
That's true. Yeah.
No, they haven't done that, and you know, it's something that literally, like, you know, it would be nice to have a collection of the what ifs. But I still believe they should bring them back. I don't know why they're just kind of slacking on that. Like it just seems like it would be so easy and such a no-brainer to you know, put it back to you know, just having those, you know, random one-off stories, you know, and that to me is the easy way to do it, because it's like, okay, you look at that and it's just like, here's a one-off story, have different people kind of take over the book every couple months or whatever it is. That would be easy, or that would be easy in theory, but you know, it's just kind of no one's really seeming to want to go that route. But
Yeah. That's true.
we can dream, though. We can dream.
Yeah. So we're getting up to 10:20, guys. I think we should you want to hit on some books for tomorrow and then call it a night.
Yes.
All right. I know we talked about Edge of Venomverse earlier, but we can say that again. It's coming out tomorrow. So if you guys want to follow along, head over to comicbooked.com and check out the list that Justin puts up. It should be one of the first articles. I think it's the first article, actually.
I think so. I put anything up. The one
So that'll tell you everything coming out. So
I'm excited for Batman Elmer Fudd. Because look at the art for that. It looks really cool. And the story goes that after like a chance encounter with Bruce Wayne, Elmer Fudd then becomes like obsessed with Batman, like he was with, you know, Bugs Bunny. So it's just Elmer Fudd hunting Batman.
I hope it's good, because that Wonder Woman Tasmanian Devil artwork sucked.
Dude, no, this one looks good. Like they've made Elmer Fudd just like a normal guy, maybe a little bit, I don't know, a shorter normal guy with a big hat.
Yeah.
Again, it looks cool. It's very dark.
It looks funny.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It's super dark. What are you talking about?
It's
You're looking at the cover.
No, I'm looking at the cover, and he's sitting there chilling like this. And then I saw the other one. The first one I saw was a variant, and that one looks funny because it literally is cartoon Elmer Fudd, like with a gun pointed at Batman, and Batman just kind of scowling at him like, "What are you doing?" So I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong cover, so I can't, you know, see the darkness and
That's like a cartoon cover, but the book isn't like that at all. The book looks like a dark Batman one-shot or something.
Now, is Batman? I'm sorry, is Elmer Fudd gonna have a speech impediment again? I mean, if he's gonna talk normally, it's gonna take me out. If I have to do my own Elmer Fudd impression to, you know, go along with it, like if he's not saying, you know,
let's hear it.
W's, I'm gonna be upset.
Do it.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, you do impressions all the
You
time.
just said you
Chris,
had
go for
one,
it.
so you got to do it now.
Oh no. Oh, well, you know what was funny is the former mayor of my city when I was in high school used to talk like Elmer Fudd, like literally talk like him. So he'd just be like, you know, students, today is such a wonderful day for you, and he'd be sitting there like, you know, we are really, you know, proud to have you going through your commencement. And I was just like, how can you take this guy serious? This is not mayor. He talks like a 4-year-old. This is my wealthy wife, Warren.
Nice.
Oh, it was terrible.
That's hilarious.
But no, I'm just saying, like, do it, you know, it does sound interesting, and it's just the, you know, the one shot, not going to be like a series. Like, we're not going to see, you know, Elmer Fudd hunting down Batman for like, you know, 6 issues, are we?
No, it's just a one shot. They're all one shots. I mean, because we also have Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. Which
I wonder if that one's going to be
that
done.
one's not appealing to me, but the Batman one, it actually looks really good. What the thing that got me about it.
Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam.
Right.
I mean, Jonah Hex. You talk about a guy who's just a hard luck character. Like, no one likes Jonah Hex.
Yeah, it's like Booster Gold. You got your diehard fans, you know.
Yeah.
Like anybody.
Wow, you said.
I wonder how they feel about Yosemite Sam fighting.
What's our Booster Gold movie, man? That would be so cool.
It'd be funny.
It would just be like they could totally do it as like a reality star superhero movie where he's just on social media the whole time.
The Miz said he wanted to be Booster Gold.
That would so work.
Yeah.
Just be the Miz.
They were saying with Miles Morales, the kid, and I don't remember his name. So Billy, the kid was Billy in the Power Rangers movie, expressed interest in wanting to be a live action Miles Morales. So who knows if Marvel's listening, but you know, there is somebody who wants to be Miles. So trying to think for me this week, I don't see it
So
too
far away.
much. I don't see a ton that's really like making me want to be like, oh yeah, I gotta go. I mean, there's certain ones like the Spawn number 125th edition. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to grab that or not because, I mean, I have the original number 1. Like,
Man.
the cover looks pretty cool. You know, Spider-Man like cover.
Yeah, it's just a chromium foil type
Yeah,
cover.
foil.
Yeah.
I've already got mine in my box, man. I'm so happy to see that. That's been like a $24 to $30 book on eBay already, and it hasn't even come out yet.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah, our
You know, just
LCS
the
got
gold
like
cover?
10 of them, I think. Yeah, it's just a second printing of a director's cut.
Came out like a month ago.
And there you go. That's what we were talking about earlier. Second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all ties together, folks.
Um,
You guys still reading Redneck?
no.
Picking that one up?
No, but I will start.
I didn't like the art. I really didn't like the art. I put it down, and I guess I shouldn't have. I should have just bought it and then put it on eBay and like, yeah, you guys can have this. I don't want this. But yeah, no, I didn't like the art, so I put it right back down. I was like, yeah, not really feeling this.
You should learn from that Walking Dead #1 not to do that.
No, because honestly, like,
You have to buy all the Image books.
Right?
ew. No. I mean, because I like the concept. Like the cover looked awesome, and then once I got into it, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah.
Right back on the shelf. I don't care if it was a 20. Same thing. I wasn't a big fan of God Country either. I don't have any qualms about that. I'm glad I didn't pick up God Country. I said it. I'm glad I didn't pick up God Country. Actually, there's a really cool True Believers coming out tomorrow. Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Yeah.
So you know,
Really?
the one with the chameleon. Yep. So for $1, you know, pick that up. Then there's also
King of the Golden State.
Miles Morales Spider-Man #1. So you know, True Believers of that, and then there is also True Believer of Spectacular Spider-Man #1. So pretty cool. Let's see, Venom 150 second printing cover. It's coming out tomorrow.
Second
then-
printing. Wow.
Yeah, and then Secret Empire #5.
Of 15.
These are books you're getting, Chris?
Well, the True Believers I'm hoping to get, and then we're gonna pick up Secret Empire at 5, and then Flash 25.
We got a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's not really too much in the indies that was like, you know, really making you know, really catching my eye. So it's probably gonna be a light week for me, and you know, it happens sometimes. But
That's good. Save some money for the holiday.
yeah. And you know, I was just looking at I may get that Batman just because Justin did a really good sell job on that one to check it out. Like I'm gonna go through it and see what it looks like in there. But
I'll send you a link, Chris. It looks good.
yay! But yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, I know that Valiant has Secret Weapons #104, so they have a miniseries coming out. But yeah, I mean, for me, there's not a ton of stuff. I mean, maybe there's some indies that I'm not quite too knowledgeable on that I should be looking into. But I don't know. I mean, I have a short list for this week. So anybody else picking up anything crazy, or you know, some books that we should be looking at that we're not?
Pretty much sums it up. I know Comically Flawed mentioned it earlier for Wonder Woman. The cover Bs, the Jenny Friesen covers. Those are always nice.
Yeah.
What else are we got? Saga 44 comes out. We're in like a new story arc with Saga.
Oh, speaking of Saga, I forgot about that.
Your 25th
So I was able to. I put this in a video a couple weeks back, but I was able to pick up the third printing of Saga #1. So I was happy about that.
I didn't know they had a third printing of #1.
They get there for like 5, I think.
Wow, that's a good book, man.
Yeah, I was just like, I just saw it in the shop. I was like, Saga #1, and the girl tried to talk me out of it. She's like, well, it's the third print. I was like, listen, lady.
She wanted it for herself.
Exactly. And I was just like, that's happened to me twice in the past 3 weeks. Heathen #4. I went to pick up one, and I actually went to pick up 2 of them. And the woman's like, "Oh no, we don't do stuff like that here." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like,
"What?
1 per customer," and that's it. I was like, "But if I wanted to buy like 3 of the Spider-Man," she's like, "No, this book only 1." And I was like, "Oh, I get it. She didn't get her copy. She was waiting for hers to be on the ground."
Wow,
it happens, and the good thing is it's a store I don't go to often, so I know about it, and I was just using that while my daughter was in the hospital because I knew I could get that book there, but yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of crazy sometimes, but trying to think what else is I mean, any other books that you think so?
Yeah, I got something. I meant to talk about this earlier, but if there's anybody still watching, I'll be raffling this off tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, I'll be raffling this out 20 spots, I think, at about $16.40 a spot, something like that.
That looks like a newer slab. Look at that, nice and
no, it's an old slab, but it's a 9.6. Yeah, it's a first experience of Cable.
I was gonna say the actual slab itself looks kind of
no, it's old slab, but I decided to go ahead and let it go. I already have a copy that's signed, and I need the money. I mean,
so raffling them for what was it, $10?
So, where can we find that?
Instagram. Sorry. Yeah. I was doing raffles, having people say what number spot they wanted on my YouTube, but I'm trying to direct everybody to my Instagram at Strictly Comics, all one word. You can pick your spots tomorrow. It'll probably go live about between 12 and 2 Central Time.
And it was $10 a spot?
Yeah. 20 spots, about $16. I think about $16.40 a spot.
That's weird specific.
Yeah, that's very specific.
I'm sorry, man, but there's a specific number that I have in mind, so that's why it's like that.
No, I get it.
I see. Edwin has a buy it now that he needs to get the exact increment for.
I'll start get paid for $1.
Sorry, it's a raffle. My bad, not an auction.
Oh dang!
No raffle.
Sorry about that.
No.
Cool. Yeah, since we're talking about later in the week, I know Justin's got is that the convention coming up this week or?
Yeah, man, this Sunday, the Atlanta Comic Convention hitting the town.
Nice.
And my man, Comically Flawed, Adam's driving down. We're gonna hit it together. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yep.
Who's gonna be the designated driver?
Well, what do you mean?
Uber.
I gotta drive to it. Going straight there. And then we're gonna
get it together. I don't know, man.
We're gonna try to hit we'll see how long we stay at the con. It's only open till whatever. So then we'll try to hit like a couple shops around Atlanta.
Yeah, gotta do some vlogging.
Yeah, see that's the thing. Like Sunday morning comics isn't going to be Sunday morning comics this week. It may be Sunday evening after con comics.
Hangover.
After
comics.
Yeah.
You don't get drunk at Comic Cons, man. No one gets drunk there.
Dude, ours, we sell beer at ours, man.
I think they sell beer at ours too. I just think that they're kind of actually, I don't know if they sell beer at Boston Comic Con. They're probably smarter than that. I don't know.
This one's like a smaller, like Sunday only $5 entry kind of con.
Yeah.
So there won't be anything like that. It's at a hotel. So.
No, like you can get.
That's even better.
The bar in the lobby.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, because then it'll be like bad decisions and arguments with people trying to sell things that are overpriced.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
I'll give you
$1. And the most amazing haul because you bought everything you shouldn't have.
Yeah, right. This will be my last haul as I.
Yes.
Like, so I refinanced my house, and but look, man, I got all the good ones, all the goodies. Check this out. I got this,
That's right.
Boom.
I'm gonna be selling this on Instagram, and there's gonna be a short sale for my house.
It's all over.
That's right.
I had to unrefinance my house, so there's this Amazing Spider-Man 300.
I took out a 4th mortgage. And
I'm selling the dogs.
Just a little underwater.
Say, I bought Justice League #1. Oh, you mean no, I mean #1. I did some. I moved around some funds I shouldn't have, but I have it now, and I got to get rid of it.
I think somebody's looking for me. I need somebody to buy it now.
That's right.
The cops are here.
Oh man.
That ever happened? What would you do? You know, like what did your wife say? My wife didn't say. Like my wife didn't say any words. Just just all the frying pans got thrown at
She
me.
just packed up her bags and left.
Oh, she would kill me. I mean, if I had the money for it, no problem. But it's just like, yeah, it's just like, you know what? I just kind of, don't worry about it. Allie's college fund went to a good place, but you know what? Justice League #1, she would beat me with a frying pan. There would be there'd be no negotiating that.
Hey, we were talking actually about on Edwin's show, on his GPA show, we were talking about AF-15 and the buy-in for that versus, the year over year on it. So, I mean, you could spin it as it's an investment, You buy into it now for $40,000 and that's going to be $60,000 in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something like that. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but she would, at the time though, she would not be happy. She would want to wait for 10 years.
No, but 5 years later, when she sees you made 20-something grand off of it, she'd be fine with it.
It wouldn't take. Trust me, I wouldn't get 20 minutes. You spent $40,000. Oh man, it just. I think I joked around. I joked around and said I bought $1,000 comic. She's like, if you bought that, she's like, if you bought $1,000 comic book, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna punch you in the face. She's like, why would you? And it was just like, I was just joking with her, but I was just like anytime there's like books that are expensive, like it's like, so yeah, I was thinking about buying this book. So how much was that? I was like, $500. She's like, so fucking stupid. Like, I was thinking about it.
That's when you start with the I bought this $1,000 book, and she flips out, and you'd be like, but I got it for $500.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, she'll be relieved.
I said as a joke. Like she gets annoyed when I watch eBay. She's like, look how much that book is. I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I watch it, to see how much it ends off at. Okay, I'm not gonna try.
I'll tell you this, man. A lot of women, they're the same. But if you can just prove and show that you're making money doing something that you love, that's undeniable, then there'll be a little bit more support. Trust me. Yeah. Now, of course, you got to have the money. You don't want to live beyond your means buying comic books and stuff.
Oh, no, not at all. Trust me.
But if you can prove and show her, like, look, babe, I made, $200-300 off this, she'll be like, oh, keep buying comics.
Yeah.
No, I need to have one of those one of those just miracle haul. Yeah, I bought this up at Craigslist for like, $10, and yeah, man, just Werewolf by Night 32 in great condition, and his, like that's what I needed, one of those ones. So she'll be like, so you can make all this money off of these things? Like, yeah, keep buying more, keep doing like that. Like, yay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't work that way. Actually, and this is just a quick one, just a quick thing, how we were talking earlier about the Let It Go and everything.
Let It Go.
I would be kind of leery about that from time to time, just because a lot of people put up books for very expensive money, like stupid books, like you'll find like
like people just don't have a clue what they have. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's that. There's either the people that just like sold you their collection for $50 and it's just like they had all these keys and had no idea, or there's people that just sell popular non-key books for like try to at least like $60 for Amazing Spider-Man 382. Like Venom's on the cover and it looks cool. So it's like, so? But don't you want it? Like, no, not for that price. Mm-mm.
Exactly.
That's like Jesse's Facebook post, the Batman 500 for $50.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, $50. Like, that's the case.
I was like, what the heck is that?
Like, cool, but that's $1 book.
Right.
That's a free book, depending on who you talk.
Let me know if you sell it.
But if that's the case, I gotta start putting that up on like, hey, check this out. $50, kid.
Oh my God.
That's right. All right, guys. So we are getting up to one of our longest shows ever, actually. So kind of told about what we're going to be doing for the week. We do have the holiday coming up. So 4th is on Tuesday. So we won't be back on Tuesday, but I know that we did like Thursday, so we're maybe talking about that later in the week.
Yeah,
Up to you guys, up in the air. We'll let you guys know. But that's going to do it, guys. This is episode 47. 3 more till episode 50, the big one, the big 5-0. So within a month, we'll be at 50. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. This has been another Comic Conversation. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
And everybody be safe for the 4th. Keep all your limbs. Don't blow anything off.
That's right. Fireworks go outside.
Yes.
Right.